My brother's phone rang at 2 a.m. He'd been dead for 11 days. I picked it up because I didn't think. My hands just moved. And when I heard crying on the other end, like not sobbing, just that quiet kind of crying people do when they've been at it for hours, I didn't hang up. I said, "Hello?" The crying stopped. 11 days before that, I was the one who found him. I'd driven 2 hours to his apartment because he'd stopped returning texts. That's how it ended, with me knocking on a door he couldn't open anymore. I had a spare key. I used it. I don't talk about what I saw. I took his phone because it was on the nightstand, and I didn't want the landlord touching it. That's the only reason. I wasn't thinking about contacts or messages or any of that. I just didn't want a stranger's hands on it. My name is Daniel. I'm 34. I work in IT for a mid-sized logistics company, mostly remote, mostly alone. My brother Marcus was 31. We weren't close the way people picture brothers. We didn't call every week. We went months without talking sometimes, but he was the only person left from before. Before our parents, before everything that hollowed out our family, one loss at a time. After the funeral, I went back to my apartment and didn't really leave for a week. I ordered the same Thai place 3 nights in a row. Watched things I don't remember watching. Kept his phone on the coffee table because putting it away felt like another thing I wasn't ready to do. I was paying his bill. Month to month. No reason. I just hadn't canceled it yet. The call came on a Tuesday, 2:04 a.m. The screen lit up. Unknown number. I don't know why I answered. Maybe because I was awake anyway. Maybe because some part of me, the stupid part, thought it might be something important. A bill, a person who hadn't heard. "Hello?" Crying, then silence. Then a woman's voice. Low, careful? "Marcus?" My throat closed. "Marcus, I know you said not to call. I know. I didn't know who else. This isn't Marcus," I said. She went quiet for a long time. "He passed away," I said. 11 days ago. I heard her breathe in once, sharp like she'd touched something hot. Then the call ended. If you've ever answered something you couldn't unhear, hit that like button, because this goes somewhere I didn't see coming either. I sat there with the phone in my hand. I told myself it was nothing. An ex-girlfriend? Someone from a part of his life I didn't know about. Marcus had those whole pockets of existence he kept separate. I'd learned not to ask. I set the phone down and went to bed. At 6 a.m., there was a text from the same number. "I'm sorry about your brother. I didn't know. I'm sorry to bother you. I just don't have anyone else to tell." I stared at it. I typed, "It's okay. I'm sorry too." 30 seconds later, "He talked about you a lot. He was proud of you." I put the phone face down on the mattress and didn't look at it again until noon. Her name was Sujin. That's what she said when she called back. And she did call back the next evening, and I answered again. I don't fully understand why. She'd known Marcus for about 8 months. They'd met through a mutual friend. "It wasn't serious," she said, and then paused in a way that meant it was, at least a little. She talked about him like she was returning something borrowed. Carefully, making sure I received each piece. He used to buy tangerines and leave them on her counter without saying anything. He was a bad texter but would show up in person when it mattered. He was reading a book about birds when he died. She knew because he'd mentioned it, embarrassed, said he didn't know why he'd bought it. That one got me. I'd seen the book, on his shelf. I'd picked it up and put it back down without thinking. We talked for a few weeks like that. Not every day, every few days. She'd ask something about him, what he was like as a kid, whether he'd always been quiet, and I'd answer, and sometimes she'd go still, and I could hear her figuring out how to hold the new information. I told myself it was grief work for both of us. Subscribe right now, because what I found out next reframed everything. Every call, every question she asked. It was a Thursday when she said it. We'd been talking about 20 minutes, nothing heavy. She'd asked whether Marcus ever cooked, and I'd laughed because no, he didn't. He'd once set a pot of water on fire somehow, I don't know how. He genuinely didn't know how either. She laughed too. Then she said, "I'm going to have to figure that out." Cooking. I didn't catch it immediately, then I did. "What do you mean?" Long pause. "Sujin." I wasn't going to tell you, she said. I don't want anything from you. I want you to know that. I called because I needed to tell someone, and he was gone, and I didn't know. She stopped. I found out a few days before he died. I hadn't figured out how to tell him yet. The room was very quiet. How far along? I said. 11 weeks. I didn't say anything for a long time. She filled the silence carefully. She had a plan, she said. She had a job. She had a small savings. She had a sister in Portland who said she could stay for a while. She was not asking me for anything. She needed me to understand that. I believed her. That was somehow worse. I thought about Marcus buying tangerines, leaving them on a counter without explaining himself, showing up when it mattered. I thought about the bird book. I thought about the version of him she knew, this other whole person I'd only gotten pieces of, and how that person was going to exist in some form, in some way, and I was the only one left who knew either of them. She wasn't asking me to be anything. That's the part I keep sitting with. She wasn't asking. I still have his phone. I haven't canceled the plan. Some nights I scroll through his contacts, people I don't recognize, names with no context, and I think about all the versions of him I never knew, all the rooms he walked in and out of while I was somewhere else, not thinking about him. I texted Soo Jin last week just to ask how she was doing. She said tired. She said the sister in Portland came through. She sent a photo, just of a window, light coming through it. And I don't know what it meant, but I saved it. I haven't asked anything direct. I don't know if I'm going to. I don't know what the right thing is here. I'm not sure there is one. There's just this weight that landed on me because I picked up a phone in the middle of the night. And now I know things I can't unknow. And somewhere out there is something that is half my brother. And he never got to know it existed. And I'm the only one who knows both of those facts. Some nights I take out his phone and I just hold it. The screen's cracked on one corner. I don't know when that happened. Before he died, I think. I never fixed it. I don't know why I'm telling you that. I think I just needed it somewhere outside of me. If this story stayed with you, subscribe and turn on notifications. Tell me in the comments, what would you have done? Would you have kept answering? Would you have walked away? Share this with someone who needs to hear it. I'll see you in the next one.